Hey everybody, we're back with the Thursday night stream. More Dark Souls, yay. Let's get the death counter going. 94 deaths so far. There's my drink. Is my drink cool enough to drink yet? No. Well, that's something to say for later then. Yay. Get that. So there. That doesn't look right, but okay. Okay, so we left off in Drangleic Castle. We're not online again today because Sony rolled out a surprise update. And I've not downloaded it yet. Surprise system update for the PS4, probably like less than a week since the last one. And I didn't have my PS4 turned on at any point today before about 10 minutes before the stream. Hey, Bane. Yeah, more of the souls. Let me move this back up a little bit. In fact, let me move it back. That should be good. Alright. Well, we're all ready. Let's head into Drangleic Castle. So how you doing today, Ben? You doing okay? Oh, that's right, there were two pathways. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I like that I have that much stamina. Not you. Symbol of the king again. I wonder. Maybe I should have brought a torch. You know, I was expecting more than one of them to activate. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I've been sneezing like crazy for the past hour or so. Uh-oh. It's calmed down, thankfully. My eyes are a little sore because of it, though. Hello. Oh, you're a ruined sentinel. Huh. I didn't realise I was out of stamina. There we go. I'm not entirely sure it was because of cold or a flu or anything. I think it was just a load of dust got kicked up as I was moving my mattress. Alright, so if we kill them near these doors, they should open. The good news is the Christmas sales on video games have started. So I bought a few. I finally picked up Collection of Mana, so you know, hopefully we'll start Final Fantasy Adventure soon. Like I said, I've been holding off on that until I got the Collection of Mana. I didn't really want to emulate it. I was having trouble saying emulate then. Anybody does. There's a big sale on the Xbox store, there's a big sale on the eShop, with Switch stuff. Like I say, I got, that's interesting. There we go, you come over here. I got Collection of Mana, finally. Hey, Professor. No, it was a download. I've been after getting the download. The physical version's gone fairly cheap, to be fair. Though... the download, though, today, the price they put out for it on the eShop is lower than the lowest it's gone physically, which is nice. I'm wondering, like, more than anything, I'm wondering how different... Oh, dear. Oh, God. This isn't what I needed. I'm wondering how different the, Trials of Mana version of Seiken Densetsu 3 will be compared to... the fan translation. Oh, bugger. Needs to be done. Damn it. Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff on there for good prices. Puyo Puyo Tetris finally went on sale for a reasonable price. It's like £10. So I finally got it. I've been after that for a while. So I played the demo of it when I first got a Switch and it's really fun. But I didn't want to throw down like £30 odd for a Tetris game. Oh, right. It's not even that it's Tetris, it's a puzzle game. I don't want to throw down that much money for a puzzle game. It might be great as a pie game, but I don't generally play with people. And if I want to play Tetris multiplayer, Tetris 99's there. Astral Chain is fantastic, I recommend that. I had a lot of fun with Astral Chain. Yep. It makes me look forward to Bayonetta 3 more, because, like, since Bayonetta 2 came out, Platinum has done some interesting stuff with how they'll do the games. With Astral Chain's a good example, and so is Nier Automata. And if you look at them, they're more than just the fantastic hack and slash action. And I'm interested to see whether Bayonetta 3 will take any of that evolution in mind. Just a 3D port. Was that why people considered the Secret of Mana remake to be so bad? If it was just the same game but 3D. I remember one of the reviews I read of it when it came out complained that the mechanics of it just don't hold up well. Which is the first I've heard of that. Alright, so kill this guy first and then head down there. In fact, you know what? This will be a good idea. This will be a treat. Uncle Mo, while you eat. Glitchy. Jeez. You know, I think I mentioned on Tuesday that I'd picked up Jedi Fallen Order. And, like, you'd hope we'd be past stuff like soft locking. And Jedi Fallen Order, though, if there's one complaint for me to have with it, in the short time I've played it, because I only played it for like a couple of hours so far, it is that the games, the frame rate is not really that good. Plus I got kicked out of the game twice because of the way it works. Because my Xbox lost connection to the internet. Oh, that was lucky. Interesting. Like, you may have heard the comparisons to Dark Souls. And those comparisons are pretty apt. It's one of those things, it sounds really stupid because everything's compared to Dark Souls if there's any kind of challenge to it these days. But it feels like it's taken a lot of inspiration from Dark Souls. There's a lot of familiar ideas and mechanics there. That said, it's really satisfying to deflect a blaster bolt back at a stormtrooper. Brings back a similar feeling to Jedi power battles. Hello.
Ah, look how far this undead has wandered. And a very fit undead you are. A bit too alive, but with a darkish shadow. Yet still unprepared for a deeper dark. And like every undead,
I am actually kind of curious about how, like, you speak of that. I'm curious when it takes place in the timeline, whether or not the stormtroopers are still clones or not.
But if you find a need for a truer dark, then meet again. We shall.
Hey, Star. How you doing today, buddy?
The dark is still.
But like I say, the comparisons are pretty apt. The most immediate one is the meditation circles you find. They are, you know, in pretty much every sense, they're bonfires. Oh, hey, a bonfire. It's like you have to sit down and meditate to level up, and you also have a separate option to rest, which restores your health, your force ability, and respawns every enemy. The same way it works when you sit down at a bonfire. He resided under Castle Drangleic. God, the reviews for episode 9 are out, and from what, like, the consensus from the reviews that I took from the Reddit Reddit has a mega thread of the reviews, and the consensus I took away from it is that the movie is fine, but it's a mess because it's trying to sum up so much. And I think a large part of that is because episode 8 said nothing. Like, there was a specific criticism from one reviewer that was like, the movie is explaining where Palpatine's been the entire time, why he's back, alongside explaining where Rey, Finn, and Poe all come from. And it's like, you know, this is probably not something that's saved for the last movie in a trilogy. Oh no, that seems to be the thing. Adventure and excitement seems to be the thing Episode 9 is trying to distract people with. But like, just to quickly end the Episode 9 tangent, because my god, we're not getting onto Last Jedi again. The problem with Episode 9 is definitely gonna be that Episode 8 did nothing. Well, a big part of the problem with the sequel trilogy in its entirety is there was never a cohesive plan. Oh, hello, you're both coming up. There was never a cohesive idea for the entire story. And so Last Jedi came along, didn't have a story. And now Episode 9 is having to make one up to finish the trilogy off. So I was saying in the Discord earlier, the problem with Episode 8 is that it's the longest Star Wars movie and says the least. There's maybe 20 minutes of the entire film devoted to character development. Oh, bollocks. Oh, bollocks. Well, let's go sit down. The movie was more interested in bringing down Luke's character than it was establishing its own new characters. Exactly, killing Snoke was a big problem because now you've not got a big major threat. Because let's be fair, the big major threat is not Kylo Ren.
Bearer of the curtains. Let
Which is why they brought Palpatine back. And it essentially makes the entire idea so far has made the big finale of Return of the Jedi pointless. What happened afterwards? Oh, Vader redeemed himself, came back to the light, killed Palpatine, finally overthrew the Sith, and brought balance to the Force, as was his destiny as the Chosen One. And, you know, there's now hope in the galaxy as the Rebellion becomes the New Republic. And now the sequel trilogy has come along and said, yeah, none of that mattered. Someone else came along immediately and invalidated all of it. Luke became depressed, Anakin's sacrifice and redemption meant nothing. I was like, wow. Way to tell a compelling story, Disney. Where did this guy come from? But no, so far the Jedi Fallen Order has been pretty fun. I like that as soon as I was able to customize my lightsaber, there are 2 color crystals immediately. So as soon as I'm able to customize my lightsaber, I can have the green lightsaber. Because for the love of God, Disney, I don't care about blue. You've overdone blue. You think that was the main reason why they decided to throw Luke's character in the trash? Because he had a green lightsaber? Come on. See, the idea of Kylo Ren being the main villain of Episode 9 would have been an interesting point if they'd given him any credibility. But since his introduction, like since Episode 7, oh, that's a bigger room. Since Episode 7, they've essentially set up the entire idea that he's not fully committed to the dark side, and it brings the case of then you're building up a lot of they're very clearly building up from his introduction of his redemption, which, you know, whatever, and essentially it's led to a lack of believability in him as a major villain, as a main villain. Which is why when he kills Snoke in Episode 8, it doesn't feel like it's a surprise, because now they've thrown away this character they were building up, but you don't feel like Kylo Ren's going to become the main villain. What just happened? Huh. I think they definitely introduced Snoke too early to begin with as well. I mean, consider the original trilogy. The Emperor is in the background until episode 6, where it becomes much more, the stakes become way higher, because now here's this character that we've heard is here. This doesn't look suspicious. One of the biggest problems I have with the prequels is it invalidates a lot of the believability of Vader's redemption. And it becomes another thing, well, thank God nothing actually hit me there. It becomes another thing in the sequel trilogy of, why should we believe Kylo Ren can be redeemed after everything he's done? With Vader, we kind of accept it because we saw his redemption before we saw his... Oh, jeez, that's not good. We saw his redemption before we saw his crimes. So it worked better. And let's be fair, Vader's redemption was less about Vader, more about Luke, from a storytelling standpoint. You know, it's another plot point Disney's just thrown away. Uh-oh. I did not need to flash that much. But we look at Kylo and everything he's done and said and everything that's built up to this, and it becomes the case of, okay, he turns back to the light. Why should we forgive him for everything he's done? And it is a major problem Star Wars has always had. Look at the old EU with characters like Kip Duron. If you remember who Kip Duron was. It was like, yeah, no, let's pull out the Sun Crusher and start destroying star systems. And then he turned back to the light and everyone was like, great. It was like, yeah. Yeah, maybe it shouldn't be as simple as that. Oh, bollocks. And archers. Dude, could you move back a bit? I don't want to deal with these archers. Well, let's go in here. There we go. You know, talking about the old EU brings up another point. Yet the Emperor came back in the old EU, and ignoring for a minute the Dark Empire was not a good story. Okay. Ignoring for a minute the Dark Empire wasn't a particularly good story. It didn't invalidate a lot of what had happened in the original trilogy when that happened. Luke was still a Jedi like his father before him. He turned to the dark side, yes, which helped the character grow somewhat. And if anything, made him wiser and was more reasonable in leading towards the new Jedi Order. It worked. The big thing you have to remember about Star Wars is a lot of it is poorly written. Concepts, particularly concepts like the Force and a lot of the stuff to do with it, has never been properly defined, which can be both good and bad. What the hell was that splash? The way the dark side works has always been very impossible to avoid unless you are essentially a monk. And the idea of the taste of the power is in itself corruptible. Bonfire there. Yeah, I could do with one of those. And the idea of breaking away from the dark side is very difficult and everything. There we go. Thanks, Professor. The problem with a lot of it is the Force as an idea is a very poorly defined concept. And it becomes one of the weirdest things whenever you read any of the Star Wars books, because almost all of them will treat the Force differently. I very much doubt the dark side has free dental. Did you see Palpatine's mouth after he got hit back with the Force lightning? But like I said, in general, the Force has always been a very poorly defined concept. Which is part of the problem with midichlorians. Trying to give it any kind of definition like that just didn't work, because it went from poorly defined, but, you know, vague enough to be interesting, to now this is just kind of stupid. Okay.
You have fought admirably on your journey, cursed undead. I am Nashandra, Queen of Drangleic. A true monarch carries the weight of their souls. The last king of this land, King Vendrick, as he was called. He found the strength to rule his people.
They really should have. It's one of the main points I take with Rey being a Mary Sue.
He found more strength.
She had 2 lessons. Neither of them were properly done. And then, in the fight in the throne room, she's able to stand up against guards who were supposed to be a problem for Kylo Ren. And it doesn't make Rey look good, it makes everyone else in that scene look bad.
Visit Vendrick. We have no need for 2 rulers.
Well, I'm suspicious of you, Queenie. But yeah, it makes everybody else look bad in comparison, because Rey has no training like that. She doesn't compare with everyone else in that scene. But there she is, holding her own against everyone else in that scene. And it's a problem. And people argue that Luke's a Mary Sue in the original trilogy, and he's really not. Almost everything he's capable of works within the setting of the story. I'll admit Episode 5 does a poor job of demonstrating that it takes place over the course of weeks. Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? And then Luke goes and fights Vader, and Vader is fully trained, has been doing this for a long time. And what happens? Vader spends the entire fight toying with Luke. And it's very clear that he's toying with Luke. And then Luke gets a good hit in. And what happens? Vader stops toying with Luke and the fight is over. And then what do you get in Episode 6? You end up with Luke far better prepared than he was in Episode 5. Far better prepared than he was in Episode 5. And you end up with a case of Vader very clearly isn't fighting properly again. I think it's one of the most interesting things about Rogue One, in that it showed Vader fighting without holding back at any point, and it's probably the only time we ever saw that. There's the good explanation in story for why Vader and Obi-Wan's duel is slow and plodding, beyond the fact that they were essentially fighting with fluorescent light bulbs, so they couldn't smack each other very hard. And it's that Vader's very unsure about fighting Obi-Wan. And then Rogue One comes along and shows us exactly what Vader can do when he's not screwing around. And it's fantastic. And I'd love to see more of that. I'd love a Star Wars story film with Vader during the reign of the Empire. Yeah, Vader held back in Episode 6. That's what I would say. His spirit very much was not in the duel. Could Luke have beaten Vader if Vader was properly committed to the duel? I don't know. Possibly, maybe not. But you also end up with the case of Episode 6 also shows that Luke was no match for when the Emperor wasn't holding back, when the situation changed. And it's something that makes Episode 8 very disappointing after how well Episode 7 set Rey up. It's like, how can Rey wield a lightsaber? Well, you know, she's introduced with a melee weapon, shown to be capable of defending herself with it. How is she able to hold her own against Kylo Ren? He's injured and emotionally distraught at that point. Episode 7 does so much subtle storytelling that works in terms of setting up Rey's character. And then Episode 8 just does none of it. Well, that took one try. Yeah, Luke became far better as time went on in the old EU. And I think one of the most important points to contrast with the new Disney canon is not only did he become stronger and better and wiser, he did that in the face of so much adversity. The Thrawn trilogy, Dark Empire, the Yuuzhan Vong War, the war against Darth Caedus. Like, being generally vague here in case anybody hasn't read that stuff and is actually interested in it.
Bearer of the
People are still really angry about Game of Thrones. Well, that's probably not going to die down anytime soon. The EU is better than what Disney wrote. Though, I said this when Disney first made the old expanded universe non-canon. What the hell? These weren't there before. Huh. Yeah, I said this when Disney made the old EU non-canon. A lot of it was garbage. There was a lot of really bad stuff in the old EU. Damn it, Bane. I was trying not to spoil that in case anybody wanted to read it. Because the fall of Darth Caedus is actually an interesting plot point. And Mara Jade's character a lot of people like. I remember you.
Oh, well met, friend. Good to see you well. Yes, very good indeed. I journeyed from the distant east, and legend has it, a sword. It's been in my family for generations. And only a real man. I may face any man. This land is a king's gone. The people are out. The land itself is overrun with that place.
But no, a lot of the old EU was pretty bad. The new Jedi Order is kind of hit and miss with the entire Yuuzhan Vong War.
Is the right man. King.
The Star Wars zombie stuff was terrible. Death Troopers and Red Harvest. A lot of the Republic Commando stuff was kind of... because the author of those novels was so in love with the idea of Mandalorians. And that really showed when that author wrote... I think she wrote at least one of the Legacy of the Force books. The one where Jaina Solo starts to learn from Boba Fett to take on Darth Caedus. And he's kind of similar to whenever Frank Miller writes Batman. And if any character appears with Batman, they'll be made to look like idiots for the sake of Batman looking cooler. Kind of like that. Not as bad, but, you know, like that. It's a shame, because I really enjoyed the Republic Commando game. I was hoping the novels would be better. Huh. God, I haven't watched Angry Joe in a long time. I got tired of him spoiling stuff. It's part of the reason why I avoid reviews of stuff that I'm actually interested in anyway. Okay. But a lot of people on the internet generally have... they'll warn you when a spoiler's about to come in, or they're like, yeah, we're focused on the story right now. Something like that. Angry Joe will just spoil stuff without any warning. It's really irritating. Oh, it's been a while since I saw you guys. Okay. Are they going to come in here? Good. I want to see if this will work. Gah. I'm gonna watch Rise of Skywalker, but it's not gonna be in cinema. Question is whether or not I'll be able to avoid spoilers for it by that point. Yeah, okay. Let's try this again. In the meantime, I'm happy that I'm enjoying Jedi Fallen Order. Because when it comes down to it, the main reason I first became a Star Wars fan was because of the games. Specifically because of Shadows of the Empire. The opening level of that game was fantastic. Yeah, it always is hard to avoid the spoilers. The Vader spoilers for Rogue One really irritated me. I don't think Last Jedi was spoiled for me. The cameo in Solo was spoiled for me. Nothing in Last Jedi was spoiled for me, which was interesting. God damn it, bugger off! That's a fair point. It does bring up the question of how do you promise Palpatine's dead this time? Because presumably they're going to kill him. I hate the way spoiler culture has become. The idea that you either see a movie in cinema in... a lot of the time in opening week. Like in the first week. And if you don't, well, too bad, spoilers now. Well, you know, it used to be a thing of... You know... We used to question whether or not it was okay to spoil a movie that was like 20 years old. I mean, at the end of Dark Empire, when Palpatine was finally destroyed, they made sure you knew he was gone, and that he wasn't coming back. Okay, do I need the other one? Kill him here just in case. I hope that was worth it. You said Aerith's death before. I'm not entirely sure about that because while it shows Cloud laying her to rest on the back of the box, whether or not you can infer that she is actually dead from that. Oh, that was actually useful. That's up for debate. But, you know, let's be fair. Plenty of times gay stories in general have just been ruined by the companies responsible for them. Interesting. Oh, I think I got its attention. Oh, it's a two-headed horse. Ah, that's not taking much damage. Yeah, that's why I say it's up for debate. That was trickier than the last boss fight. Gower's Ring of Protection. Yeah, not bad. well, the remake, it becomes a question of is it even something people don't know at this point? I mean, you have to assume there are some people who don't know that Aerith dies, but are the people who don't know that gonna be the people who are gonna be playing the remake? Ah, shit. Missed the boss early in the game. You know, I could believe it with the way this game's set out. Maybe 2 bosses. Yeah, the original is definitely going to be streamed by a lot of people. I'm considering streaming it again myself, but I probably would rather just do 8. Oh, 3. You turn around and tell me I missed most of the game in a minute, Professor? Oh, that's worrying. Someone in there. Yeah, I feel like if you don't know the story of Final Fantasy VII and you want to avoid it, if you're watching somebody stream the original, it's your own fault. It's one of those things, like, if you want to avoid spoilers for anything, it's like, yeah, no, I don't. Is that just the guy wriggling around? So I don't want spoilers for Jedi Fallen Order while I've actually started playing it. And I can choose to not go into places that are going to talk about spoilers, like subreddits or videos about the game. But, you know, there's always the chance, and if I go into somewhere like that, that's my fault, if I get spoiled for it. But there's always the chance there'll be a video on YouTube that will have a spoiler in the video title that you just can't not see. Key to the embedded. Huh. Yeah, one thing I've been seeing more of recently. You know, that is actually a good comparison, man. One thing I've been seeing more of recently that has been quite nice has been positivity around the older Star Wars stuff. I don't know who Mr. H is, and I'm glad I'm not aware of him. If he's going to spoil stuff like that, Professor. Yeah, positivity around the older Star Wars stuff is nice. Like, even around the prequels. I was watching a video yesterday on how the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan along with the duel between Sidious and Yoda, is the single best duel in the series. Not just because of the choreography. And it's nice to see that kind of positivity. Oh, that's good to know then. I take back what I said. I thought you were talking about him as somebody who will just do spoilers. Fuck. I hate these guys. Oh yeah, if you've ever seen any of the behind-the-scenes stuff from Episode 3, the choreography on it is fantastic. Like, the fact that you see them practicing the duel, and then moving that fast. Wasn't overly choreographed like the Maul fight. It's reasonable. Like, the movements they're moving that fast. It wasn't sped up at all for the movie, because they were doing it perfectly, and it's great. Meanwhile, you have the opposite of that with Yoda and Sidious as a nice contrast of the two of them. Their duel is almost entirely force-based. I think Episode 3 is an interesting case. So Episode 3 works best with... because, let's be fair, the prequels did a poor job of characterization as well. And the main point I give Attack of the Clones over The Last Jedi is that it at least set up a conclusion to its trilogy. But Episode 3 is best enjoyed following the Clone Wars. High ground. Because that gives you the characterization you need for Anakin and Obi-Wan. Puts Baby Yoda in the Sidious fight. I've not even watched The Mandalorian and I'm tired of the Baby Yoda memes. Yeah. I've been debating actually, trying to get at least another friend together and going through like the entire Star Wars saga in some way. Recording thoughts on it for some kind of critical analysis. I think it'd be interesting. But that's probably just a pipe dream. I hope that's not a mimic. I feel like it's gonna be a mimic then. And I'm in a bad position for this. Yeah, I think a young Sidious movie would be interesting. I mean, we essentially got the story with the Darth Plagueis novel, which may as well still be canon. It's one of the stupid things with Disney. Yeah, Star's been talking about the spoilers that he's read. He hasn't shared any of them, but he said that the movie itself is stupid. It is a mimic, who'd have guessed? Oh, bollocks! Ugh. Oh, for the Mandalorian. I don't know. I was thinking episode 9. But it's one of the stupid things Disney's really done. When they got rid of the EU, all they really did afterwards, like, they've replaced the post original trilogy stuff, and they've been doing their own stuff. What seems to just be between episodes 4 and 5, as far as I can tell, and that's it. They've not really replaced any of the stuff between the prequel trilogy, between the individual movies of the prequel trilogy, or before the prequel trilogy. Which is a shame, because there's a lot of potential there. And until they do, we may as well just take stuff like the Darth Bane trilogy, the Plagueis novel, Knights of the Old Republic. We may as well just take those as canon. I feel like this is a bad enemy placement. I should reread the Plagueis novel. Well, I'm gonna go and see episode 9. I'd rather go into it as blank as possible, so I can be disappointed when I see the movie rather than when somebody tells me how disappointing it is. That guy gonna have respawned? Yep. Yeah, Disney's going to do what they want. It's their franchise now. They've got the money. They want to make more money out of it. They'll do what they want with it. And if you don't like it, well, you're not a real fan. Let me deal with this guy first. Ah, crap. But it is one of the most important things to say about all the old stuff. Disney can't take that away. They can say it doesn't exist anymore. They can make new stories that ignore the old stuff. But they can't stop the old stuff from existing. God, who owns James Bond? It's an MGM thing, but didn't MGM actually die years ago? Blofeld Inspector may as well have been Mickey Mouse. That movie was awful. It's a shame as well because Skyfall was really good, and Spectre turns around and says, "Oh hey, you remember Skyfall, the movie we intentionally made to be unconnected to the ongoing Quantum plot because nobody liked Quantum of Solace? It was actually connected to Quantum of Solace." And it's like, great, good work there. I've been debating doing GoldenEye for the stream. Well, I say the stream rather than the channel, because if I'm going to do it for the channel, I'm going to need practice. It's been a long time since I sat down to play GoldenEye seriously. Do I have something to strengthen the Estus flask? If I do, I'd forgotten that it actually is a thing. Let me see this. Oh, I've got two. I forgot. You know, I forgot that you use those to strengthen them. I forgot that it wasn't just the Firekeeper souls again. Go on. Thanks for reminding me though, Professor. I'll have to make sure I do that. You know what the biggest shame is about GoldenEye? If it wasn't for Nintendo, we could have a legitimate GoldenEye remake like we have Perfect Dark. Uh-oh. Ooh. Now I just jump down here. Doesn't look like there's anywhere else to go. There we go. Oh, I completely forgot that that's what you use to strengthen Estus. Like, seriously, thanks for reminding me about that, Professor. Oh, it's you. Okay, well, time to leave. Yeah, because I've been wanting to do Bond stuff for the channel. And while I'm confident about a lot of it, I'm not confident about GoldenEye. So getting some practice for it on stream wouldn't be a bad idea. Where does this lead? I think I was here before. Well, that was my intention to do GoldenEye as an LP. But like I say, I'm not confident in my skills with it, so getting some practice on the stream wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, let's burn this. Can't burn this bonfire, let's go back to Majula then. I'm fairly confident in the world's not enough the PlayStation. Agent of the Fire, Nightfire, and Everything and Nothing I can do. From Russia with Love I can definitely do. And then, you know, as time went on and games got easier, I can do the ones that I never actually played, like Quantum of Solace and Bloodstone, and maybe see about picking up 007 Legends, that one game nobody liked. You know, circle back round to the GoldenEye remake. Say that in a loose sense. The one where EA decided to make Call of Duty. I have that on Xbox, actually. But it's something I want to get around to, but like I said, I could do with the practice on GoldenEye. Tomorrow Never Dies is definitely one I should take a look at, because mostly I'm thinking about them in terms of what I played growing up. And I did play Tomorrow Never Dies growing up. It's why I said the world is not enough for PlayStation rather than Nintendo 64. Oh, this looks ominous. Because I had it on PlayStation, I didn't have it on Nintendo 64. These ones have... Oh god, they're kicking. But I Tomorrow Never Dies. There's one level in particular I remember about Tomorrow Never Dies. You get the BMW that you had for the movie, and it's a long road, and you have to run down the road, meet Q, get the BMW, and then enemies start attacking you while you're in the BMW. You have to fight them off. And when I first played that, I didn't see Q while I was walking down the road, so I walked to the end of that level. And you can't finish that level by walking, you have to get in the car. And it's a long road, so I walked all the way to the end of the damn thing. I'm going to do Perfect Dark. I'll probably do the Xbox version because I'd never played the Nintendo 64 version. So I might as well go with the version that has the better controls and graphics and everything. But like I said last time I think, I played it when I got... Oh, that makes me nervous. Thank you, Professor. I played Perfect Dark when I got Rare Replay for about an hour, and I did enjoy it, I just never went back to it. Another one of those games. Didn't realise I was fighting Link. Yeah, that's it, I didn't see Q. I mean, to be fair, I was a kid. Which is exactly why I actually walked all the way to the end, because I had that kind of time and patience. Okay, come on. There it is. Oh, shield didn't come up fast enough there. Okay. What's he doing? Oh. Okay. Well, there's the difficulty. I was thinking, you know, this boss fight seems a little easy considering he said this could be a problem. I mean, you didn't say it could be a problem, but I inferred that you meant they would. Shield didn't come up fast enough. That was lucky. Alright. Probably shouldn't have done that yet. He gave me the time though. You know, I don't think enough games have boss fights set in the lane. Oh, that wasn't a smart place to do it. I want to play Devil May Cry 3 again. Okay, that happened. 2, and he's not going to do the 3rd because I moved out of range. More health than I had before. He led the shot. What a dick. Not going to go for a 3rd, so I'll take the initiative. Oh, multiples. Well, it ain't no judgment call, I'll tell you that. Oh, damn it, I wanted to put the shield back on. I almost had that. Well, I could do with going to the bathroom anyway. So I'll be back in a minute, guys. Alright, we're back. Let's see, it's not that far to that guy. Let's take a left at Albuquerque. Now, we almost had him. The problem ended up being his lightning attack, which was what I expected to be a problem. If anything was going to be a problem, it was either that or the knights he was summoning. Well, the fact that he has what looks like 3 variations, possibly 4. How's my equipment doing? It looks fine. 3 variations, possibly 4 of that lightning attack is a little... makes it harder to predict. Okay. Let's do this. Full health. Back at it again. Going back up the King's Passage. Ooh. Watch it, horse pieces. Alright, let's go. Yeah, I was just thinking to myself... That's going to make this easier. Just thinking to myself, is there a game that actually requires knowledge of chess in a puzzle? And it immediately hit me, Resident Evil 0. Oh, look, another one. Well, with 2 bros, this should be a cakewalk then. I didn't go human to summon people. Actually, I went human for the full health. Broken Sword 1 in Spain. Yeah, you're right. It's been that long since I played that far into the first Broken Sword. Get him, boys. Make him away, toys. I've been considering the original Broken Sword, and by the original Broken Sword I mean the series. Probably do the PC versions though, for several reasons. Probably up until Broken Sword 3. Yeah, Resident Evil 0 is not well designed with a lot of its problems, a lot of its mechanics. It is very easy to get stuck in. But yeah, probably do Broken Sword 1 and 2 on PC. Broken Sword The Sleeping Dragon would probably be the PS2 version. Angel of Death was only released on PC. And then I have... Serpent's Curse, that's what it is. I have that on PS4. I also need to play Broken Sword 5. I also need to actually go through Angel of Death. I never actually did it. Well, this wasn't even a fight this time. I'm not even going to do my usual victory pose for that, because that wasn't even a fight. That was 3 guys kicking a dude while he was down. I knew it. So like, if you've ever watched the Sonic Shorts collection, which is fantastic and really worth watching, there's one short which is Sonic, Tails and Knuckles are just kicking Robotnik while he's on the ground. And it's hilarious. Like, why are you doing this? And Sonic's like, because we're Sonic heroes! And then they keep kicking him. Wow, that goes pretty deep, doesn't it? I think it stopped. But that's essentially that's what the fight was. Yeah. But I've been working on streaming from the computer and should be able to do Broken Sword off the computer. I have Scum VM set up. Yeah, there it is. I have Scum VM set up because of reasons. Those reasons being that I want to play some of those old point-and-click games. I say some of them. It's mostly Broken Sword 1 and The Curse of Monkey Island. I mean, I could do the PlayStation version, but the PC version loads so much faster. I could do the Director's Cut version, but I don't like a lot of what the Director's Cut does. Like the visuals, the little portraits that it's got, I don't like them. No, I never really did Beneath the Steel Sky as a kid. The Curse of Monkey Island was the only point-and-click game we had on the PC when I was a kid, and I had Broken Sword on PlayStation. Well, Beneath the Steel Sky would be interesting to do. And, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily mind doing some point-and-click games. The big issue with going back to a lot of them is a lot of them are, like, let's be fair, poorly designed. That's neat. I heard the sequel, Beyond a Steel Sky, got delayed recently. But no, I think I was pretty lucky with the point-and-click games I had growing up, being Broken Sword and The Curse of Monkey Island, because they are they're pretty well written. They're not loaded with bullshit death, like a lot of the point-and-click games were. Thankfully, I never had any of the Sierra games growing up. I've heard the Discworld games are, oh, what was it? Very difficult or very bullshit? It's one of the two.
Bearer of the until hope has fully withered.
This is new. Okay. Well, time to go again. Shrine of Amana. But like, as far as point and click games go, the ones I'd be interested in doing would be the Broken Sword series, possibly the Monkey Island series, up to at least the Curse of Monkey Island. I'm not sure about Escape from Monkey Island and Tales of Monkey Island. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I do recall hearing Eric Idle was in it. What else? I wouldn't mind trying to do the Gabriel Knight games, but they are Sierra. I don't think they're as bad as the King's Quest and the Space Quest games are with their deaths. But I think they are still not quite as good as, say, like the LucasArts games. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis is a game I want to do at some point. I've been meaning to get around to that for years. Basilisk. Oh, I have a bad feeling about that. If he's going to stay there, though, let me... Okay, so it's not exploding barrels. Unless it actually is, and that one's a distraction. Well, the first Gabriel Knight's really interesting. It has a pretty solid voice cast. Like, Tim Curry voices Gabriel Knight. Mark Hamill voices his detective friend. They remade it, I think, the 20th anniversary edition, and it has none of the voice actors back. They replaced them all, which is... I can understand why you would, but I would have been more interested if they'd remastered the... just not necessarily redo the voice cast, but remastered what they already had. But it makes me far less interested in the remake. Interesting. Beneath the Steel Sky would be interesting because it is Revolution. Gabriel Knight with the werewolves. I think that's the first one. I think the first one had like jaguar people. I know it opens up with Gabriel having a nightmare about someone turning into a jaguar. Some of the Humongous Entertainment games could be interesting. There was a lot of buzz about them a few years back on YouTube. Like educational point-and-click games that were actually really good. They seem kind of interesting. Hello.
We knew you were coming. And stopped singing. We are Milfanito.
Okay.
We are here to sing to those bound by death and dark.
And you stopped singing because I came over? I thought I was bound by death and dark.
We will sing here, forever. As we always have, from long, long ago. We know nothing of the world outside. And why should we? For we will never leave. Do you seek King Vendrick?
Apparently.
But what is a king, after all? We know nothing of the world outside. For we will never leave here.
Yeah, I get it. Where is he?
When we sing, the little ones grant this is... Is there anything? Perhaps this is all that... When we sing, the little one,
Alright. Is that because of something outside or because of that? Huh. Now, there's gotta be more point and click games. I just can't think of them at the minute. I do want to do some PC games as well. I have a fairly sizable PC game library. And stream's always good for pushing me to do some stuff. No, I did not mention Grim Fandango. That is a good point. Some of the stuff that went on to be Double Fine. I have Grim Fandango on something. Probably PS4. I'm pretty sure I have it on PS4. I have Day of the Tentacle too. I got a bad feeling about that. Yeah. What else we got PC wise? Some of the PC exclusive Star Wars games, I guess. Like Empire at War. But that is a real-time strategy game that probably isn't overly interesting to actually watch. Huh. Uh-oh. Damn sorcerers. Of course there's another one. And there's a knight there. I'm sure I saw a bonfire over here. Yep, there's a bonfire. There we go. I do have one of the Tex Murphy games as well, actually, that I'd be kind of interested in doing. Like the FMV games. Tesla Effect is the one that I have. Which was the revival they did on Kickstarter. I also have a couple of FMV games on Switch that I'd be interested in doing. I don't trust the water paths. Okay. Wonderful. Alright, let's do this. Well, that shows exactly how precise the roll timing is to avoid that. Oop. Well, I guess this is where they were leading me. So is this the hardest area because it's so big? And footing may be precarious? Okay. Oh great, another one of those things. Yeah, alright. I see a fire reflected in the water with nothing to reflect off. Alright. There we go. Frustrating first time. When you don't know the pathways. Okay. Well, hopefully I'll get through it fairly painlessly. Hopefully. It does bother me somewhat that I've not fallen in a hole yet, because I'm expecting one. Dude. Why would you? Thanks, buddy. Well, that's me dead. That one was definitely not my fault. Don't worry, I aggroed him for you, now you can take him out. Ugh. Okay. This way. Now everything I killed is going to have respawned, which is wonderful. Alright, so this guy was the surprise. And then deal with this one. Damn it, I was hoping that'd kill her. Well, there go. There go those souls. Alright. And that doesn't give me invincibility frames, thank you, Dark Souls 2. Okay. They draw this douche back. Wonderful. Bleed is just my favourite status effect. That could have gone better. Oh god, go screw yourself. Yeah, the good news is, as far as we've got into Dark Souls 2, it hasn't made me as angry as Alundra did. Remember that time I got really angry at Alundra? Bad platforming will do that to you. And at least Dark Souls doesn't have that much bad platforming. Okay. I'm thinking about getting to Alundra 2 at some point, but it wasn't that long ago that we did Alundra 1. Go cast magic missile in the darkness. Yeah, I was trying to get through Alundra by a specific point. The fire that we had to freeze into ice platforms. Ugh. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Alundra, but that game never did platforming well. You know, I like that I can kill most enemies in a 3-hit combo. Okay, explain to me, Dark Souls, why I can't climb up that. Again, fire underwater, but no fire there. Which means the game is rendering it badly. Oh, god damn it. And there's a knight. That went better than it could have. Yeah, that's when we first got Professor. I think Professor Snape joined us, jeez, during the desert shrine. God, move, you fool. God fucking damn, the slow Estus in this game. Yeah, that's when we got our second regular. How we've grown since then. really do hate sorcerers. Really? Why didn't this happen before? I remember you. With your scythe that cuts through my defense for some reason. Certainly isn't what I needed right now. For the love of God, turn and raise your shield. Better. I don't like how you just get a human effigy whenever you kill an invader. So in the first game you got something for killing invaders. Every time we've killed one in this, it's been a human effigy, and I've got plenty of them. I don't need more. Well, I'm probably going to die again because bleed. Thank God he missed. So far, every death in this place feels like it was avoidable. That first death definitely was. That Phantom was a wanker. Well, yeah, no, I'll aggro that big enemy and then not do anything about it. Alright. I always hate fighting enemies with soul armor. No. If only I had the rusted iron ring, things might not be as bad. I suppose there's another bonfire around here, is there, Professor? It's just shame this place is hard to get to. I can't see it making much difference. It's hard to get to, it's probably not going to be worth it. You know, I look forward to getting to Dark Souls 3 and its mechanics that are more in line with the original game. Getting back to that'll be good. Okay. Turn and face the sorcerer. God damn it. Maybe I should just start shooting everybody. That's probably what that idiot's summon was actually good for. His aggro range was pretty big. Okay, come on. Let's get back to the good parts. I don't know what good parts, but you know, let's try and get back to them. Yeah, I really hope they don't do Dark Souls 4. Not because I'm getting irritated with this, but because from what I played of Dark Souls... Fuck off. From what I played of Dark Souls 3, the formula had already been pushed to its limit. Bloodborne was a good idea, mixing it up. Not saying they should do a Bloodborne 2, though. I want to get through that fog door before we finish tonight. Oh, go to hell. Ruin a speed run. That sounds problematic. Oh, did you hear that Capcom has renewed the trademarks for Dino Crisis and something else? I can't remember what the other thing was. And now people are getting all hopeful of a Dino Crisis remake. And I'm just sat here thinking, like, no, don't do Dino Crisis 1 again. Do Dino Crisis 4, do it better this time. Dino Crisis 3... Dino Crisis 3 feels like a game Capcom wanted to fail. I mean, the setting, the design, the fact that it was exclusive to the original Xbox. Alright. Oh, come on, I hit you then. Why did you not die? I hit you twice, and your shield was not raised. What's a hitbox, Dark Souls? I think part of the problem with the original Dino Crisis is people remember it as better than it actually was. Dino Crisis 1 was a... It's not a bad game, but it's not a great game. It's a weak game. What's even going on with Parasite Eve? I'd heard Square lost the license for it, which is why the third birthday was called the third birthday. Back in the day it was kind of neat, but going back to it, it's got interesting ideas that are held back by a lot of things. Part of it is down to the full 3D environments. Like, ambitious, but... Yeah, because Parasite Eve is a Japanese novel. The game is actually a sequel to that. Let's should get to the Parasite Eve series. Although I can guarantee I'm not doing 2 playthroughs of the first game. Okay, get around you. Parasite Eve, though, is an example of Square. Why Square was so good in the 90s. Because they were just doing so much. Okay, let's take this guy in a different direction this time. Like Parasite Eve, Einhander, Bushido Blade. Some really interesting stuff that was outside their usual comfort zone of RPGs. Why are you aggroing stuff again? One of these days I need to sit down and do a full playthrough of Einhander. What are you shooting? Oh, you prick. Not worth the trouble to summon you. Right, I'm gonna die. That dickbag had to aggro more. Never played the bouncer. I've heard of it, I've never played it. You know, you could hit the guy. I don't think I've ever had a more useless phantom. You want to attack one of these guys? There we go, finally, someone aggro to him. Really, I've heard reasonable enough things about the bouncer. There we go. I hope this ain't a boss, but no, on my luck, it's going to be a boss. Just wait for that to recharge me. Alright, let's do this. No, it's not a boss. Great. Good work hitting the ground, genius. Task complete. They barely did anything. The roof is way too close here. I'm assuming that's why the camera's zoomed in this far. Yeah. Need to work the camera around that. Bonfire, yay. That might have been something I'd heard about it. It felt kind of unfinished. It's always a shame in that when that happens. Like, I've been enjoying a game and all of a sudden you get to a point where it becomes really obvious that it's not quite done. Like Final Fantasy 15. I was enjoying that game, and then a specific point in the game happened and it became obvious this game was not finished. And then the DLC came out. I think stuff like Final Fantasy 15 is one of the reasons, like Final Fantasy 15, Metal Gear Solid 5, really reasons why you should not trust review publications. Too many places gave Metal Gear Solid 5 a perfect score. It was a good game. It was not a game deserving of a perfect score. Let me go and get more life gems. I've said before, like games that you'd rate like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. That kind of thing can end up being some of the best games. Not because they're good, but because they're interesting, they catch your attention and your imagination. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a decent game. It's not a 10 out of 10 game. It has a lot of problems. Like the fact that it's very clearly unfinished. There's also the fact that even if it was finished, it's very obvious the story wasn't going anywhere worthwhile. Felicia the Brave. Oh, hey, a lance. I think I like her. I think she might be a little crazy, though. It's the funny thing with Kingdom Hearts 3, with Metal Gear Solid 5, with Final Fantasy 15. In fact, you know what? Not Metal Gear Solid 5. Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15. How long they were supposed to be in development for. And it came out as very much unfinished. And I'm wondering if Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to end up in the same position Final Fantasy 15 did, where they're trying to finish it off with DLC. Like, is that what Remind actually is? Because it was very blatant with Final Fantasy 15. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know, I wouldn't even say Kingdom Hearts 3 is an example of that. I'd say Kingdom Hearts. Just the entire series. Like, why did they need to do so many side games? The story wasn't that good that you needed to expand it over that much. At that point, it was just poorly written. If anything, it was overwritten. Thank God I have Felicia with me. I need to go and make sure she survives. She's about to die. Don't die, Felicia. Oh no. I'd say that started happening in the first Kingdom Hearts. It's one of the biggest points with the first Kingdom Hearts. It feels... The first Kingdom Hearts focuses on the idea of Final Fantasy Cross Disney, with an emphasis on Disney. Because after a certain point, the appeal of it wasn't Final Fantasy Cross Disney, it was Disney. Like, go through these Disney worlds, meet these Disney characters. And one of the big problems you end up with towards the end of Kingdom Hearts is the way Maleficent is all of a sudden thrown out as the main villain to be replaced with Sephiroth riff-off number 267. It's like, yeah, okay, Square. Sephiroth was popular, but, you know, you could do a different design. It is one of the most disappointing things to me about the first game. That you're going through it with Disney and Maleficent is the main villain and you're building up to her with the machinations she's doing. You've got the little council she has with the other Disney villains. And then you get to her and they explain the dragon form as unleashing darkness from within her heart. That's where it starts to get kind of... that's a bit much. The real show, though... the real show of them losing touch of exactly what people were actually interested in with Kingdom Hearts was Chain of Memories. Like, not even Re-Chain of Memories, specifically Chain of Memories. Because that is the moment the story stopped being about fun Disney crossover and about bullshit written by Tetsuya Nomura. Is this even the right way? And the fact that it took so long to get to the conclusion of the Darkbringer saga, as if we're ever going to see anything else. You know, it's ridiculous. It'd be interesting to see Kingdom Hearts going for a new main villain with a new main storyline. If this first storyline they've set up ended, I'd say at the latest 12 years ago. Huh. Is that what's been singing? It's a frog? Oh, I was worried you wouldn't come out to play. Yeah, I was actually discussing with a streamer I follow. He's currently playing Final Fantasy II. I was discussing just how often the series brings out, very late in the game, a new main villain to be the main villain. I'm gonna have to hit the face, aren't I? Like, usually some kind of eldritch abomination for it. They did it from the start. Final Fantasy 1 with, oh, Garland was behind everything as chaos. And then Final Fantasy 2 brings the Emperor back after you kill him. And it's like, I've forgotten just how fast that happens. Like, you kill the Emperor, Leon turns up and is all like, I'm the Emperor now. And then you go to deal with him, and you don't even get to deal with him. Damn it. You don't even get to deal with Leon. Because the minute you get to him, the Emperor comes out. It's like, yeah, no, I took over hell. I'm the main villain again. It's like, okay. If it wasn't for how over-bloated the random encounters are in FF2, it'd be like 20 minutes. 20 minutes between killing the Emperor and him coming back from hell. Cloud of Darkness is a good example, Zemus is another good example. And then the whole thing of Zemus coming back as Zeramus through the power of its hate. It's like, well, what was the point of Zemus then? Necron is the worst example. Square kind of took a break from the idea, admittedly, beginning with Final Fantasy V. X-Death is the main villain, and it's apparent very early on that X-Death is the main villain, and they never switch him out for another one. Maybe it's just because Final Fantasy V has the simpler story, and that was always the point. But Final Fantasy VI begins with the idea that Gestahl is the main villain. But Kefka turning out to be the main villain works because Kefka's been there from the beginning. Like, Kefka doesn't just turn up out of nowhere, stab the Emperor in the back and say, no, I'm the main villain now. He's been there since the beginning, and it works. 7 with Sephiroth as the main villain. The only real twist there is the Sephiroth you've been following wasn't really Sephiroth, but Sephiroth is still the main villain. 8 kind of gets back to that with Ultimecia, but I think Ultimecia is introduced early enough. And then 9 brings in Necron. 10 does it again. With you, Yevon. Yeah. Can't really speak for 12 because I've not finished it yet. I'm probably going to end up doing that on stream to actually finish it. But that'll be after I go through a bunch of other Final Fantasies. You Yevon being behind Sin is essentially the same as Zemus being behind Golbez. It's the same plot point. Just this time it's a little more interesting because the concept of Yevon already existed. Your Estus isn't really doing anything, is it? Yeah, I'll get to 12. But I want to do 8 first, and 9, and 10. Going in here with a partner is probably going to work out way better. It's interesting that thing didn't respawn. That's not going to go well. It had a follow-up, so that was like a 5-hit combo. No, 11 never had an offline mode. It's an MMO. You can still play it, but you'd have to play it online. This is going to be really frustrating because of the face, isn't it? It's the same as 14. Although 14 is a lot friendlier to actually play. 11... You have to remember that 11 as a game predates World of Warcraft, and it shows. I'm not talking about graphically or anything, I mean in its ideas of gameplay and how to treat the player. "14 is way friendlier, and honestly, it's part of what makes 14 so enjoyable, the fact that you don't have to be so involved in it to enjoy it. Oh, that was different. And of course, we're also not counting some of the older Final Fantasies. I mean, I'm probably never going to do 2 or 3 for the stream. 4 is a tentative maybe. Mostly because I just don't really like 4. That's a personal preference. 5 would be interesting, and of course 6 has a reputation for a reason. And then of course there's the spin-offs that I do want to get to, like the compilation of 7. I want to do Crisis Core, but I do want to get Dirge of Cerberus done first. Really? I wonder why. Oh, come on! Come on, we can do this. Oh no, that was bullshit. Oh, I have no interest in the DS version. Like I said, I'm not overly fond of 4 to begin with. I'm not going to play the harder version of it. Oh, come on. That should have hit. There we go. I did not like that boss. Key to the embedded. Huh. It's a good thing I checked that, because I'd have no idea where to go with it otherwise. But no, I did 4DS once. I have no interest in doing it again. Oh, I've not seen that before. I wonder where this leads. Well, this looks like the elevator to New London Ruins. Just bigger. Yeah. With 4 though, 4, specifically the reason I believe it is a maybe rather than a hard no. I don't like 4, but 4 is totally playable. 2, and while 3 can be charming, it's a game I very rarely sit down to beat. Because of a lot of its design mechanics are bullshit, and the the way it demands so often for specific party lineups, without telling you what those lineups are beforehand. Yeah, you could warn before you do this, genius. You, Vendrick. I thought Final Fantasy IV Easy Type came out after the US version. My past, I suppose. I thought Easy Type was based on the US version.
Vendrick, the near true one, is here, and not far. But what is it?
Everybody keeps saying that.
Neither born with great wisdom grounded in my feelings. What is it you seek? You cannot even say yourself.
Seek to be done with this so I can play a different game. It creates an interesting suggestion that the later ports of it would be based on the Easy Type difficulty, I guess. Like the PlayStation and Advanced versions. I mean, that's it. If I was going to do Final Fantasy IV, I'm not sure. I'd probably do the PSP version, the complete collection.
Bearer of the curse, I will all until hope.
Yeah, because it is something to think about. How much more of this game is there? Yeah, it's something to think about, like specific versions that I'd do. Like, after the way Final Fantasy VII went on PS4, I think with Final Fantasy VIII, and if I go back to 7, which I've been considering, but I should do other ones before that, definitely do the PlayStation version. And thinking the PS1 version of 6, maybe. Gotta be the Game Boy Advance version of 5. Ten would have to be the HD version. Mystic Quest Legends Mystic Quest, isn't it? Because the one we got that was called Mystic Quest was Final Fantasy Adventure. I went over this, I don't remember the specifics. I wonder though about the first game. Is it's a choice between the Origins version on PlayStation and the PSP version? Because the Origins version is the only remake of the game that has the original magic system. Every other version after it has the standard MP system. Alright, let's do this. She has a key and not just a big knife. Yeah, it's Mr. Quest. Hello. Well, I killed the giant monster frog thing. That's not overly helpful to me. Because I'm not vain enough to care. Oh, that's interesting. Is that all that was for? She was singing as we left, and the singing fading away suggests she was actually singing up there. And the singing's gone. That's not anything. Nothing else here. I wonder if she's gone back to the what is it, Shrine of Amana? Because she looked exactly like the singer that we spoke to there. A sister, perhaps? Alright, Undead Crypt. Alright, let's see if we can find Vendrick. That looks like a poison room. Oh, you want to go first? Which one of you wants to go first? Both of you. Nope, just you. There we go. If you attack together, you might have had a chance. Oh, I ran out of stamina. I couldn't do the follow-up. Alright, so what's this place then? I'm probably going to want a torch, aren't I? Thought they looked like shields. What a crazy dude. Dual-wielding shields. We had a friend like that, didn't we? The shield bro. When we fought a lost sinner. I remember shield bro. He was a cool dude. Oh, great. That humanity-based magic again. Looks like it. I don't like the looks of this. Oh, that's wonderful. No, you. Oh, come on. Turn back up. Go. That could have gone worse. Oh, hey. Alright, let's go. I feel like this game hasn't really had any repeated summons. Which is a shame, because the repeated summons that you got in the first one were fairly good. Like how you could summon...
Human, do not produce light. Light, and all those who bear it are unwelcome in this place.
Okay. And how you could summon Solaire in a bunch of different places. Which also helped the motivation of completing Solaire's quest. Because you liked him and because it gave you Solaire to summon in the final boss. Okay. Hey, you look like a dude.
I am Ugdane, guardian of the crypt.
Okay.
Countless dead rest here in peace, cradled by the comfort of dark. Light only agitates. We have no need for it here.
So if I use a torch, does that mean people are going to attack me?
I am a finito. This task was granted to me. Countless souls wrecked. Some were rich, others. Did you come for him? The one called Vendrick.
Is he still here?
You will find him deeper inside. Many castle servants and the like have come to fetch their lord. But they rest here now, put to death by the king's own guard. Perhaps He's not in the mood for company. In the past, the former King of Light, he feared humans. How queer you humans. This place is welcome to all. Death is equitable, accepting. We will all tell me what you desire. I am a finito.
Okay.
Some in the past. How quick.
Ring of Thorns.
Crude human.
Oh, that was interesting. I was just checking for a fake door. No need for light, but there's plenty of light here. And there's a sconce. Makes me wonder. Do I actually want light? Seems to have called something up. Shame I can't actually get through these things. That's better. Weird they didn't break earlier. More stones. Judging by that, I'm guessing they keep coming while the bell's ringing. It's an interesting point. Alright, let's go. I wonder if Shield Dude has respawned. Yep. Sure those are shields and not just a wall? Sure you're not just carrying a wall? Ooh. Okay, do this quick. Did that drain stamina rather than health? Lock on to what I want you to. Looks like you drained both. On. Two. Might as well do something while I'm killing these guys. Alright, let's hope this goes better this time.
Human do not produce light.
I wonder if it is actually beneficial or not to bring a torch in here. Could be the opposite of... go wherever the spider place was. I mean, there's a sconce there for a reason, unless it's just a trap. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so there's nobody over here, which means that guy turned up because we hit the bell. I didn't hit that bell. I realised I was low on health. I feel like it'd be beneficial to get out of this area. Via this ladder that I just found. Why, Scarlet? Well, taking that guy out certainly was beneficial. Nothing over there. Oh, I didn't see you. Where did you come from? Why would... I have no stamina. Ugh. I want to get my souls back and get to another bonfire before we call this. Very funny, Bane. You can break the statues. You know what? I mean, I don't want to fight these guys without a shield. I was considering going back to the bonfire then for a minute. That got visually confusing very fast. Can I deal with them? Yeah, it does. It deals with stamina first. Move! Jeez. Poison just isn't fun in this game. End up having to do this again, it might be worth considering something that'll boost my stamina regen. That said, I already have the Chloranthe ring on. Yeah, let's celebrate and let's go. Okay.
Human do not produce light.
Yeah, I didn't see that before. Oh, that's why. Interesting. Get him, Scarlet. That'll be a lesson to you. What? Jeez. Alright, let's try and make this quick so we can call it night. Okay, so we did die here. That's where you came from. Ah! Screw this. Go away. Shoot. That's rude. Wait for me to finish the current fight before you try and interrupt me. I was gonna be careful because it looks like he's trying to parry. Yeah, I could have picked a better time to do that. Okay. I don't know why he missed there. It looked like he was totally within range. Not really a fan of just how many NPC invasions there are in this game. Especially since there doesn't seem to be a way of stopping them. So in the original Dark Souls, you'd only got invasions, NPC or player, when you were human. It's part of the risk you took with being human. But here, no, they'll just invade you. Two shield guys, from the looks of it. I was really hoping I'd only aggro one of them. Okay, come on. Surprised I'm managing to hit both of them fairly often though. Especially since I'm doing a vertical attack. Armor, gloves. It's probably a super heavy set, isn't it? Well, not super heavy, but it's not as good as what I've got. Knees and toes. Into the hole. Okay. Where are we at? Where are we going? Yeah, that one doesn't have a bell. Someone's ringing one though. There you were. Waiting for you. You never showed up. Oh, come on. Oh, bollocks. Well, if they all come from one direction, I might be able to handle them. Do I have to start doing that? I have way too many souls to lose that. I'm not losing 65,000. Okay. Let's just make a dash this time. Is it lacerating arrows I have? Yeah, alright. Okay. So I want to take one of these guys out. Because otherwise I may end up getting hit in the back when I'm trying to move shield dude. Is he not coming out because of the light? Oh no, never mind. I'm sorry, what happened to the summon I ordered? Why? Hell with that. Still coming. Shouldn't be able to follow me past the fog boundary. I bet you he will. Yep. Hopefully he's going to get stuck there. There's this way. There's through this hole. 2 shield dudes. Watch out for the guys on the walls. This one might be a problem, actually. How do you get past 2 shield dudes? Click through them, I guess. If it works. Why is the homeward bone not available? Damn it, this ain't good. Which one was it that I went into? There we go. Ah! To have been warned about the homeward bone not being useful. Thank you, Dark Souls. Fucking game. Yeah, no, homeward bone works everywhere except for here. This is going to be the rest of the stream now, try to get these souls. Stupid mushrooms. Try to do it until I eventually die before picking them up. Okay, so it works here. Where does it stop working? Left first room with bells and rocks. Alright. Thanks, Snape. That's right, don't come in here. You! Move. Room on the left. Don't produce light. Yeah, got it. Shut up. There we go. Cool. Thanks, Professor. Can't use bonfires. Somebody is summoned. That was a nice thing to find out when it first became a problem. Again, Dark Souls not properly explaining its mechanics. Like I said about the first one, I like the game. It could do with explaining itself more. If I take Scarlet in there with me. I should have a chance against all those dudes. God, who rang the bell? You know Scarlet's not going to end up coming through. Oh, there she is. I don't trust the AI's competency for that. Something must have happened. Yeah, now I can't use the homeward bow, and I didn't see when that became a thing. Yeah, breaking them is probably going to be the only solution. The issue is about breaking them before something starts ringing them. Find my souls first. That's a pathway. He's going to one, isn't he? That dick. Where are my souls? No. Where are my my souls. I hate this room. That's, by that point, probably like 70,000 souls down the drain. At least we actually spawned here. That's going to do it for tonight. We've gone over time trying to get those souls, and it was a meaningless effort anyway. And thank everybody for joining the stream. I appreciate the support. Today's stream has been fraught with a lot of silence and standing still because I've been muting the mic to blow my nose fairly often. I want to apologise for that. It's not been as lively as usual. I want to give special thanks to Bane, Professor and Star for joining the chat. I always appreciate that, guys. Keeps the stream going. We'll be back on Sunday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time, with something. I don't know what. I'm not going to promise Beautiful Joe anymore. We might do it, I don't know. At this point, there's no guarantee. Dark Souls will be back next Tuesday, 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. I had a feeling we're getting close to the end, and then this stream happened, and it feels like we're really not. One day we'll be done, and I'll probably reconsider my thought of doing Persona 3 after this, because Persona 3 is going to be even longer than this. But yeah, no, I know what I'm doing with Persona 3. It's still like an 80-hour game. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day and take care. Catch you next time.